Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. My name is Shirish, and I work as a Senior Director of Engineering at Impetus. And today, as Ron said, I'm here to cover how enterprises can maximize their cloud investment in the digital journey. Now, in next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to cover the current state of enterprises that we see for our customers, talk about some of the cloud and data cost challenges that we have been seeing, the cost engineering approach that we have been successful with many Fortune 100 companies in last many years. Summary of some of the best practices that we have seen has worked well for us, followed by a success story. And towards the end, I do want to cover an enabler that we have developed. As Ron said, we are more of a services company, but we do have an enabler which accelerates the cloud cost optimization. We'll take a slide on that to just give you a glimpse of it. Now, before I go deeper into topic, I just wanted to introduce about Impetus to everyone here who might not be aware. So we are, headquartered at Los Gatos, California. We got incorporated in 1996. So we have around like 2 decades of experience with relationship with customers. We work with almost like 20 plus Fortune 100 customers. We have a strong capability on cloud and data engineering. We have spun around 5 product companies in last 15 years with a growth rate of 25% year on year. We have global presence. Majority of our offices in US and India with close to around 3,000 employees. And we have been awarded and recognized by industry, as you can see on the screen. And then among these, one of being, top 25 great places to work in India in tech space. With that said, let me start sharing about our experiences on what kind of challenges that we are seeing with customers, right? Uh, in their digital innovation journey, as most of our work is, warehouse migration or modernization of data lakes or migrating to cloud environments, right? So implementing any digital innovation, often requires a significant upfront investment in technology, talent, as well as in infrastructure. And then balancing this initial cost, while we ensure a long-term benefit, can be challenging. Now, especially for smaller organizations with limited resources. And even with large organizations, we've seen, they get into vendor lock-in, making it difficult for them to, either switch providers or change technologies, right? The digital landscape, evolves quickly, and keeping up with the pace and deciding when to adopt to new technologies is another challenge that we are seeing, where overspending is always in thought, right? That should I spend or I should hold, and moreover, attracting and retaining top talent, for this innovation projects can be costly and can impact your budgets. Many customers that we have seen, they struggle with integration of their legacy systems with the newer technologies, or retrofitting or replacing outdated systems can be expensive and time consuming, and making it really challenging to create that fine balance, right, between innovation and maintaining operational continuity. Most of the time, customers' cloud costs are tracked by a central finance team, or in some cases, IT teams. Now, these teams are far off from the actual usage of cloud resources. And on the other side, the engineering teams responsible for provisioning these resources do not have a clue on how their actions are translating into cloud cost. There's no central place to get this visibility, and with hundreds of instances, buckets, volumes, clusters running, it's difficult to know who is using and how long these have been running, and all of this adds up to the cost. Now, most of these digital innovation projects rely on large amount of data, and the cost associated with ingesting the data, storing the data, processing the data, analyzing this data, and this can be substantial. Optimizing data management strategies to minimize cost while maximizing insights is a continuous challenge. Further, we spoke about in the previous sessions, compliance and security, right, for these projects can be really critical. Implementing cybersecurity measures and complying to evolving regulations can add to overall cost. Lastly, again, most common challenge that we have seen is, cost optimization is always considered as an afterthought. It's mostly reactive, and by the time you realize that you have lost a good amount of dollars, it's too late. So these are some of the challenges that we have seen, and now let me take you through an approach, right, that we have tried with many of our customers to address some of these challenges. As you can see on this diagram, we have, on the left side, we have all the challenges that we just spoke about. We follow a three-step approach of assess, manage, and innovate to help us get outcomes which are efficient. In the first phase, we look at the, current spend. We assess the environment. If it's a data lake, we look at the workloads, we look at the patterns, we look at low-hanging optimization opportunities and just fix it there itself. Once you go to the managed phase, we look at slice and dice of the data. We start looking at, deep dive into insights on what's happening. We also look at the tags, trying to set up showbacks or chargebacks to the divisions or to the customers or to the users, so that we are able to get visibility. We set up rules, alerts to have your budgets and guardrails around how much that we could spend on a month or a year or a quarter, right? And of course, the a lot of automation that we could do to eliminate the wastage or to minimize the resource wastage. And once we are able to manage it, I think the last phase that we get into is innovate, where we really accelerate the cost optimization by one of these enabler that we have developed. We call it as cloud cost optimizer, CCO, that helps us in doing proactive recommendations. It has AI based features to detect anomalies, near real time anomalies, and it supports multiple cloud. I'll talk about this later in the deck. And then, of course, the shift left approach for cost management. I think our belief is it just not being reactive in the cloud engineering approach. You need to start thinking that the moment you spun a resource, that whether this has been effective or did I lose cost as you go forward. So we start looking at shift left approach, where we start looking at cost savings much early in the cycle. Now, I with experiences on many of our customers and going through this approach, which I just spoke about, there are some lot of best practices that we have tried capturing on this slide. There can be many more. These are some significant ones which I wanted to share here with the participants. The first one is shift left mindset. I think I just covered that in the earlier slide, where you start looking at cost optimization as early as possible, so that cost cannot be an afterthought. And then we look at cost element proactively right at the development itself. We can optimize resources during development cycle, coming up with right sizing. Now this may take iterations, and we may be we can enable extended monitoring to begin with, to right size, and then later we can switch back to basic monitoring. We can choose between serverless services, transient resources, reserved instances, right, based on the usage. In case you're looking for a long running resource, I think that you can consider saving plans that can help you save 30 to 40% of the costs. In case you are not sure how much time it will take, and if it is random in nature, you can enable auto scaling to optimize your costs. We can design, automated flows to spin up resources and then terminate as needed. The process of onboarding the whole end-to-end flow, right from application to platform resources to spinning up infrastructure, should be automated. Now, this not only helps in accelerating the delivery time, it also helps in reducing the costs. As I said, tagging can also help identify the stale resources. It helps us show back on who is using it, also to charge back to resources from different business units. It provides summary of cost by various teams or groups and becomes an inspiration, which we have seen in many examples or customer examples for other teams for cost optimization. Basic anomalies can be detected by setting up billing alerts on a monthly or even on a daily basis. We can also use native and third-party solutions to determine, almost like real-time or near real-time anomalies to save unnecessary cost. Now, if you look at warehouse migration to cloud, right, which we have been doing a lot for many of our customers, it makes things more complex. Enterprises are looking for single source of truth for their data at scale, and that too with speed for accurate decision making. Now, these migrations on cloud usually starts from your ingestion process to cleansing of data to transformation, and then finally analytics on top of it. And a recommendation is that we should spend more time on understanding the underlying end-to-end use case, whether it's batch or a real-time process. And you can choose between a managed service or a serverless service for cost optimization. If the data is incremental and consistent, you can go for a managed service. However, if it is random in nature, you can choose a serverless option to save the cost. Uh, there should be a data pipeline observability dashboard that helps us in proactive monitoring. Now, again, many times we have seen, these pipelines would get stuck or there will be failures and the underlying resources will keep up. They keep running, right? And they taken up a lot of cost. We should set up rules for idle and wrong running instances to identify such cases and take actions. And as we heard right earlier in the AWS session, a lot of providers are coming up with storage and compute separately now, and we should use them appropriately so that we can optimize them as we move forward. As I said, there are many more best practices. In context of time, I wanted to just cover some of these which are useful, which we have seen almost in most of our engagements that one can apply. Now, I wanted to cover a success story for one of our customer. Now, this customer is a large retail service provider in United States, and we started working with them last year, where they had a business need to move their legacy Teradata platform to Snowflake on Azure, and they want to do it in a cost-effective way. So not only we help them move maybe close to around 3,000 ETL jobs that they have on Teradata to Snowflake, maybe SnowSQL. We converted all of that to SnowSQL in a record time. We also started looking at their costs on the data warehouse. So we created the Snowflake dashboards for them for effective performance monitoring. We started looking at compute heavy ETL jobs on a week to week basis, right? And see that how can we optimize these jobs, how can we optimize those queries to get to a number where it should meet the SLAs and it should also help us improve the cost. What we have been seeing last I think 6 months, 7 months now, we are meeting 100% percentage of our SLAs. We are able to save around 45,000 month over month for them for their batch processing, for their ETL jobs on a warehouse. They do have a reporting solution with MicroStrategy where their analytics warehouse was also tuned up by optimizing the the queries on the reporting side that help us save around 13,000, close to $13,000 a month. Now, optimizing these jobs and queries helped us improve the performance of both the reports as well as the jobs. That was a side, gain that we got. So not only this, I think, as I said, this large and retail customer has seasonal peaks, and typically in November and December during Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas holidays, they had those peaks which came in. And that also we handled by monitoring the warehouse resources. So some of these Snowflake clusters, they were using Excel, some were using L type of instances where we looked at that carefully. We planned it. We look at certain batches which can easily go for L, certain batches can go for even a smaller one. And we did optimize the warehouse cost to around like $4,000 a month. Not only that, we were able to manage these, holiday period where on some of these days, their sales were like 10 times the usual day. And we were still within SLA. We were able to manage it with an optimum cost. I mean, this next slide talks about some of the data points that I have for this case study. So if you look at the bottom side of it, maybe a couple of weeks ago, it talks about the jobs that we have plotted here before optimization and after optimization. So before they were taking like maybe close to 30 minutes, compute heavy jobs, and after optimization, they went all below 5 minutes. And on the top graph, you can see that from last 6, 7 months, we were able to save right from like around $28,000 a month to $45 a month, $48,000 a month for them. And this is which is around close to $500,000 on an annualized, right? If you really look at it, and this is where we were going, right? We with this money that we are saving, we are able to add new use cases. We are able to add new customers. They are able to serve new customers and build within the same budgets that they have. That's the advantage that we are seeing with these cost savings. Now, I just want to take a couple of minutes on the enabler that we have developed, which is, as I said, we call it as a cloud cost optimizer. Now, this helps us in giving us a unified assessment, monitoring and optimization solution for your needs, right? Now, if you look at the screen, it's a quick view of how does it look like. You know, uh, we support for AWS, Azure, and GCP. Uh, we have a pseudo support for Snowflake and Databricks at this point of time. Of course, we have capabilities to do optimizations on data platforms and these cloud providers. We fetch data from all of these providers, put it into an analysis engine in the center, and that engine helps us slice and dice this data and give us visibility, give us proactive recommendations. It helps us setting up notifications, forecasting for your future needs. That helps in your budgeting, and of course, governing, governance with the operational best practices, so bringing in operational excellence. So, and the solution is, offered in both the modes. I mean, either you can use a SaaS version of it, or you can get it, deployed within your own environment. Right? And we have seen this, right? Using this solution, and using our capabilities with so many customers. We were able to reduce cloud cost or data cost for customers up to 40%. We were able to find bottlenecks very quickly, 50% faster identification, right? We If I look at chargeback and the forecasting feature, which brings in the FinOps maturity in the way that we are solving the cost efficiency challenges. With the kind of dashboard, unified dashboard that we have, we can have it for finance teams, we can have it for development teams, we can have it for managers, we can have it for executives. So that gives a proactive means for a developer also to see that if he has spun anything, he's able to just control that, right? And then features like, anomaly detection, or alerting, or proactive recommendations. Now these cloud cost intelligence features bring in, really profitable growth. And then, as I said, we collect data from these cloud providers, and do a slice and dice, which helps us generate unit economics on services, on regions, on for departments, for users, and then deliver value throughout the org. Because of our time today, I'm not able to demo this solution, but do feel free to reach out to us if you want to really see how it works, or if you want to get in touch and understand how we have solved cost optimization challenges for our customers. We do have, by the way, a $0 free assessment, which runs for 7 to 10 days. If you really want to get this done, feel free to reach out to us. Click on this link, and we should be able to help you out. I think that's all that I wanted to cover. Let me know if anyone has any questions that I can answer.